Yo! What's up, everybody? Happy winter meetings. We're officially getting going starting tonight. Well, technically tomorrow, which I just learned today that it's starting more so tomorrow. I thought it was beginning Sunday. But yeah, the winter meetings are getting going Monday, the 4th of December. And how's everybody doing? What up, yo? What's good? How are y'all doing? We got some people piling in the chat now. Awesome. What's good, everybody? Brody, how we doing? Backstage Media, what's up? Sean Lee, Francesco, is it Francesco or Francesco Ravenda? What's good? John Sanchez, how we doing? Bunt24, what is going on, everybody? We got some stuff to talk about tonight as the winter meetings get going officially tomorrow. The Yankees and Padres, their talks have stalled. Now, I talked about this a little bit on the stream yesterday, and for those who are just joining, this is something we're going to be doing, streaming every single night this week for the winter meetings, which I'm pumped about. Long story short, to get into it real quick, my schedule has gotten wonky. I don't have as much time to create content as I used to, but because of that, we're just going to start going live. Makes it much easier on me, and also makes the news much easier to deliver because it's all in live time. And who knows, maybe I got my Twitter notifications on. If something goes down, we're going to experience it in live time together. What's good, everybody? How we doing? Hi, Dan. I'm back from the Wizarding Cave. I don't know what that means, but maybe that's like a, I don't know, Wizards of Waverly Place reference. What's up, everybody? How we doing? I don't want to pay too much attention to the live chat to start out, or else I'll be totally sidetracked the entire time, but I appreciate everybody who's tuning in. We got to start off with, of course, the winter meetings are tomorrow, and the most recent thing that we are hearing on the Yankees and Padres Juan Soto talks is that they're not talking. They, as of Sunday, have not spoken since Friday, is the report. And reason being, the Yankees consider the Padres' request for Juan Soto to be ridiculous. And let's get into that right now. I'm going to pull up the trade here so you guys can see it. I want you guys to let me know in the chat and in the comment section below, would you do this? Because it is an absolute haul. The Padres are seeking 7 players in return for Soto. Leading that package, Michael King, Clark Schmidt, Drew Thorpe, which that in itself right there, if they were to give up King, Schmidt, and Thorpe, I mean, I would say yes to that because I want Soto bad, and the circumstances call for a move of, this measure. But even that, I'd be like, damn, okay, we gave up some significant capital back. But in addition to those 3, they also want Randy Vasquez, Johnny Brito, and 2 more additional prospects. That's 7 players the Padres are seeking in return for Juan Soto, which is insane. Now, I don't want anybody to panic because, as I said yesterday, this is all just a part of negotiations. Just the same way they initially were asking for Anthony Volpe and Jason Dominguez, they're shooting for the moon right now, as they should. It's negotiations. Same on the flip side with Brian Cashman, which, even though I criticize Brian Cashman a lot, this is not the time to be getting on his back. Because, tell me honestly, and I know we're fans here, and I can be sometimes unrealistic myself, are any of you making this trade? Knowing that if you continue to negotiate, especially with the winter meetings not having already started officially, you can get this down because 7 players for Juan Soto, as much as I love him, as much as I want him bad, that's absurd. So me personally, I have no beef with Brian Cashman. Contrary to my tweet yesterday, for those who saw it, where I said, if Brian Cashman F's this up, it will do irreparable damage to the fan base. I stand by that in the sense of, if the Yankees don't get Juan Soto, it will do, actually I think the word is irreparable, apparently. Irreparable damage to the fan base because season tickets are down tremendously right now. Renewals are at, I don't want to say an all-time low, but the lowest they've been in quite some time. And unless they make a big splash like Juan Soto, and in addition to also Yoshinobu Yamamoto, who we'll talk about in a bit, fans aren't going to be showing up next year. And I had some people replying to that tweet where I said there'll be irreparable damages. And I more so mean short term, because obviously the Yankees are the Yankees, international brand. They're never going to go away. They're never going to die. But what does cause the front office to panic is when people don't show up. This past year, they still showed up for the most part until the very end. This coming year, if things don't change, particularly going out and getting Soto and more, a blockbuster type offseason, people aren't going to be showing up in the seats next year. And that's the Yankees' MO. That's what gets them going. That's what motivates them and why they're going to have to do this deal, but not this specific one. These 7 players, 7 players total, period, for Juan Soto is just crazy. And we also hear that the Blue Jays are a suitor as well. And you know who they're headlining their package with? And this is why we shouldn't get too concerned. The Blue Jays are headlining their package with Alek Manoah. That is who the Padres, if they don't want to make a deal with the Yankees and they want to keep asking for this ridiculous return that we just talked about, all right, you want to pivot and go to Toronto and have a package headlined by Alek Manoah? I don't think so. Which is why, guys, it's not something to get too concerned about yet. Which I'm not going to lie to you. Like, yesterday I was kind of starting to tweak a little bit. When I saw the Blue Jays were getting involved, I'm like, okay, here we go again. And maybe we are headed for disaster. I don't know. But as of this date, as the winter meetings are getting going, I'm still very confident this deal gets done because the Yankees are pretty much one of the only teams that can financially take on Juan Soto's $33 million he's set to make this coming year. And the only team that has the proper package to send back to San Diego. Because, okay, even though, and let me go back to this trade again, even though, and for those just joining us, this is what the Padres are asking the Yankees for Juan Soto. Even if I'm not going to do this, even if you take out, say, the Yankees don't want to give up Michael King, is what we hear. Let's say you take that out, and you're getting Clark Schmidt and Drew Thorpe. Plus, we'll throw in Randy Vasquez and one more prospect. We'll give you a 4-player deal, Clark Schmidt, Drew Thorpe, Johnny Brito, and one more prospect. That's 4 players. Even that blows away anything the Toronto Blue Jays could offer. So while they may be asking for the moon, the Padres, that's fine because they're not getting anywhere close to the moon from any other team. With us, they have their best chance to unload that salary in its entirety. Obviously, the Padres aren't going to be, throwing in any cash or splitting what is owed to Juan Soto. No, the Yankees would have to take on all of that $33 million, plus giving up a really good return of big league ready arms in my proposed package of Clark Schmidt, Drew Thorpe, Johnny Brito, and an additional prospect. And that's kind of just off the top of my head. I'm not saying I wouldn't trade Michael King. I understand why the Yankees wouldn't want to, but if it came down to it, you can headline him with this deal. Obviously, you try not to, and that's what the Yankees are doing right now. They don't want to give up as much as possible, or as much as the Padres are asking, because you don't have to. This is how negotiations work, and once again, the winter meetings haven't even started yet. Or I'm sure people are chit-chatting tonight at bars and whatnot, but the real official winter meetings get going Monday the 4th. And we have heard from Brendan Cootie of The Athletic, while talks have stalled and they haven't spoken since Friday, the Yankees and Padres, they are going to re-engage tomorrow, which is obvious. That's how it works. It's the winter meetings. The whole purpose of this is to negotiate. So I still expect a deal to get done. I'm quite confident in that. Maybe not exactly this week, but don't be worried about this ridiculous offer, or this ridiculous request, I should say, from the Padres, because when the Yankees do eventually get Juan Soto like I'm predicting, it's not going to be anywhere near this, I don't think. And it's certainly, if you look at the headliners, Michael King, Clark Schmidt, and Drew Thorpe, my mind's all messed up from Volpe. It's Drew Thorpe. It's not going to be all 3 of those guys headlining it. At most, you'll see 2 of those 3. And the Yankees probably prefer it to be really just Clark Schmidt, because apparently Michael King and Drew Thorpe is who they really don't want to give up, which I understand, but if it comes down to it, you make that deal, just not the surplus of total players that the Padres want. I'm cool with them ultimately headlining if they have to, but 7 players is pretty ridiculous. Let me see what you guys are saying on here. Ori is asking, Dan, can you save the live streams on your channel so we can watch at a later date? Yes, absolutely. Yesterday, for those who are just joining us now that weren't in the live stream yesterday, I did kind of a test stream. That was solely for that purpose, just to test it out. But from now on, these shows will be like archived on the channel, and they'll live on the channel as kind of the main content going forward. I mean, we'll see. You know how I am, guys. I'm pretty wishy-washy with this stuff, so I can change my mind quickly. But as for these live streams, anytime I do a live stream, they're going to live on the channel for sure. And by the way, if you guys are in this chat right now, if you're in this live stream, all my buddies and friends in here, if you could drop a like. If you're in here, please drop a like. It helps me out a great deal. But once again, let me know if you would accept this trade from the Padres. I know a lot of you guys would, because you're thinking like, yo, do anything to get Juan Soto. I understand that, and I share that sentiment, but not when you don't have to. This is not the final offer from the Padres or the final request. Expect at least another few days of negotiations, and once again, they are going to start talking again, which is obviously good news. Now, I have it on the graphic here, which I kind of just talked about it, so I'm not going to get totally into it here. But particularly Michael King, who I like a lot. And as of right now, he is probably shaping up to be our number 2 starter in the Yankee rotation for 2024, which we should get into that real quick. Because the Yankee rotation, as much as the lineup needs help, the rotation is not just as much of a dire need of help, but they could sure use some additions there. Because right now you're looking at Garrett Cole, as things currently stand, Garrett Cole, Michael King, Carlos Rodon, Clark Schmidt, Nestor Cortez, which the only guys in that rotation who aren't question marks are Cole and probably Clark is number 5. King, with great upside, he still is not a proven starter, although in his 9 starts he did have where he was incredible. He obviously looked really good. But if the Yankees were to trade Michael King, which I'm certainly open to, they obviously have to add a starter after that. Could be Yamamoto, which we did just hear a report. Let me pull it up here. I believe it was from Bob Nightingale. Okay, so Bob Nightingale said this, and this was at 3 o'clock this afternoon, December 3rd. While the Yankees await the Padres While the Yankees await the Padres' asking price to drop for Juan Soto, their number one priority continues to be Japanese star Yoshinobu Yamamoto. They consider their stiffest competition for Yamamoto to be the Dodgers, although the Mets and the Giants can't be ruled out. Now, of course, I want Yamamoto bad. Who doesn't? 25-year-old stud, one of the best pitchers we've seen in Japan that's coming over to the States, especially since Masahiro Tanaka came over, and we all know how well that worked out. He's 25 years old. He's a stud. Three straight Sawamura Award, which is the Japanese equivalent to a Cy Young. I believe that's how you say it, Sawamura. And 3 straight MVPs he's won in Japan. This dude is legit. He's only 25 years old. I honestly would not be opposed to giving him, honestly, a 10-year deal. I wouldn't, because that would take him through age 35. If you buy into this dude enough to give him 7 or 8 years, that means you buy into him, the player. His prime, you figure out at least extend through 34, 35. I would consider that to be worth it because he is so young. But with that said, I would be concerned about getting our hopes up for Yamamoto because the Mets are involved. If it comes down to the highest bidder, Steve Cohen might go crazy, man. Especially because if the Yankees were to take on Soto's $33 million, if the Mets offer Yamamoto like $40 million AAV and just blow him out of the water, I expect him to take that. So knowing the Mets are involved does concern me a little bit. Although, to be honest, I can't get all that, worked up about Yoshinobu Yamamoto just yet because my eyes are so set solely on Soto. But this is going to be an exciting week, guys. It's going to be a very exciting week. One that I'm very pumped for because the Yankees know they have to do business. The Yankees know that fans are more displeased than ever. What I'm seeing on, this is nothing new, but going back to, the end of the season or just the way the whole season played out, the displeasure and unhappiness in the fan base is greater than anything I've ever seen so far in my young life as a Yankees fan. I'm 23 years old, started hardcore watching back in 2011, although I did see the 2009 playoffs, but I say that now because we haven't won anything. To be honest with you, I was like in and out of sleep. It hadn't really registered in my brain as like being something that I should really cherish and appreciate. I was hardly a true watching baseball fan at that point. But by 2011, I really got into it. I've been a fan now for about 12, 13 years, and I've never seen not even just the frustration like this, but lack of interest more so. And if the Yankees don't pull off a move like Juan Soto or Yoshinobu Yamamoto or Jung Hoo Lee or an overall 2009 or 2013 like offseason where they say, okay, enough is enough. We got to be the Yankees again. Let's spend our asses off. If they don't have an offseason like that, they're in trouble. And going back to what I said before about the season ticket issue, that's why. Because right now, it's set to where there's not going to be that many fans in the seats. There'll be opening day will be sold out. Yankees Red Sox will be sold out. The big games will be sold out. Maybe, some weekends in the summer. But unless things change with this current roster and some excitement is brought into the Bronx, fans aren't showing up to the Bronx. And you'll have, I feel like, a lot of games that look similar to how the stadium and the seats looked in September, where they were half filled. Which, in that case, was the first time since like 2016 where I saw the stadium that empty. It's like in 7 or 8 years. So that's where I'm at with it. I know the Yankees don't have any choice. They know they don't have any choice but to go out and have a crazy offseason to bring excitement back into this fan base. So I'm excited for the winter meetings. I'm always hopefully optimistic or cautious. I don't know if cautiously optimistic is the word. But I go into most fresh and new situations, if I can, with a positive attitude. And I trust that the Yankees have finally realized that they've fucked up. And yes, please drop a like on this video, this live stream, if you are in here right now, which you guys are all my homies, and I appreciate you guys being here. And of course, this will live on the channel after the live stream is done, so if you're not here presently, you can see it afterwards. But yeah, so that's the latest on the Juan Soto stuff. Of course, the winter meetings once again start tomorrow, and Jung-Hoo Lee is set to be posted tomorrow as well, which is pretty cool. I have mentioned before that I'm interested in him. I wouldn't blow the bank. Apparently, he might be getting like a contract close to $100 million. That would concern me a little bit, but if the Yankees go out and get a leadoff hitter in addition to Juan Soto, that would be awesome. And I talked about it a lot in the stream yesterday, so I won't get into it too much again, but that's another thing the Yankees have to figure out. Who's batting leadoff in 2024? Is it DJ LeMahieu, who did have a really good second half, an OPS over 800 in the second half? Could it be Gleyber Torres? Is Gleyber Torres getting traded? That's something else, we'll have to keep our eyes peeled to. But for now, as we all know, the story going into the winter meetings is, will Juan Soto get traded, and will he get traded to the Yankees? Let me know in the chat where you guys are all. Comment down below as well if you're watching this later on. Kind of what your offer would be, or where you're sitting on this trade. I feel like a lot of people have a pit in their stomach with the reports the last couple of days coming out about, the Blue Jays getting involved and how the Yankees aren't talking to the Padres anymore over the last couple of days. But remember, they're going to re-engage on Monday with the winter meetings starting. So this is far from over. And as expected, talks are going to pick back up. This is all part of the process. This is all negotiations. Dan, please give a shout out to Tyler B for being a goon. Tyler B, stop being a goon, dude. Just kidding. You may not be being a goon, but I'm sure you're a nice guy. What's up? So where are you guys at right now? Yeah, no, season tickets are definitely rough right now. And I've heard that from multiple sources as well. So it's not just one guy filling me that information. Other people have reported it too. That's what gets the Yankees' brain working and being like, yo, we got to fix this or else we're going to be in trouble business-wise. Which sucks. That's what it comes down to, yo. It's all, a business, as they say. It's not show friends, it's show biz. But, hey, in a way, I really see what people were saying. I understood it at the time, but it's good, unless it were to end up going on to win the World Series somehow. It's good things kind of bottomed out as much as they did because it forces the Yankees' hand. And that's why I'm expecting a big week. Would I trade Gleyber Torres for Shane Bieber and Emmanuel Clase? Yeah, I would do that deal. But that's not going to happen because there's no way, and I appreciate the question, Yassine, but there's no way the Guardians would trade their ace, Shane Bieber, who has just 1 year of control left now, along with their closer, Emmanuel Clase, who he has like 2 more years of control left. That's a lot of value they have right there. They're not going to trade that for 1 year of a middle infielder. So, of course, I would do that deal, but there's no shot Gleyber Torres is getting that sort of value, which it's something against Gleyber, but in general, and this is the same reason why the Padres asking for 7 players for Juan Soto is ridiculous. 1 year of any player doesn't have that much value. Same with Mookie Betts and his trade to the Dodgers 4 years ago or 5 years ago. 1 year. 1 year of Gleyber Torres, man, is not... Yo, Tyler B, I was just playing before, dude. I don't actually know if there's beef going on in the chat or not, but everybody keep it nice, calm, and civil. If we're not doing that already. Not that I can tell you guys what to do or nothing, but I don't want any panicking over the Yankees just yet. Because we got a big week coming up. Now, I will say, if Juan Soto does go to the Blue Jays, they're going to have to put a net under the George Washington Bridge, because that will not be good. But I'm not there just yet. Last night I was tweaking a little bit, and that's usually how I roll. I see a report or I see a walk-off home run in the moment. I freak out. It's the end of the world. And then, I come to my senses a little bit, and I was reminding myself, it's all part of negotiations. If I was Brian Cashman, although I've voiced my displeasure about him a lot this year, if I was Brian Cashman, I'm not taking that trade either. So I'm not freaking out just yet. I'm not panicking. But my eyes are, my eyes are a little more peeled to the Blue Jays and what their negotiations are all about. I'm not going to lie. However, it could just be, maybe the Blue Jays are checking in just to have our price go up. That's a thought. Maybe they just wanted to make us give the highest bid possible just to screw us a little more. But regardless, if it's that, it's something else, it's all a part of negotiations, and the winter meetings technically haven't started yet. So we're chilling. We are chilling. I'm just going to start hitting buttons on my Streamlab now, or my Stream Deck, Because, I really want to get the production side of this stuff down. If we were talking about Michael King, I'd roll this video that you're seeing right now. I should have brought this up when I was talking about Yamamoto, but I'm not a pro yet. It's a nice B-roll footage of him. You want a picture of Yamamoto? Here you go. You want another picture of Juan Soto? Here you go. But, yeah, that's where we're at right now, guys. How am I doing? Mateo, I'm doing good, man. I just stuffed my face with Burger King before this, which, bro, Burger King is, so underrated, I feel like, now. And particularly ever since they came out with that commercial. Around that time, they started hiring the right people, started cooking the burgers a little bit better again like they did back in the old days. I've had it 4 days in a row now, I think. 3 days in a row. For those who like a good hamburger and haven't been to Burger King in some time, give them another shot. I promise you they're better than they were 5 years ago. They're back to the OG days of Burger King from 2005 when I was a kid growing up. Soto to the Yankees would be the best move since 2009. Yes, and that goes back in a way to what I was talking about yesterday, because John Heyman keeps reporting that he expects the Yankees to get 2 of the 3 of Juan Soto, Yamamoto, or Cody Bellinger. If they were to get 2 of those 3, along with a supplemental move on top of that, maybe getting Kevin Kiermaier or re-signing Frankie Montas, obviously you got to fill out the roster besides just Juan Soto. But if you headline the offseason with Juan Soto and or Yoshinobu Yamamoto and Cody Bellinger, Soto plus one of those 2 guys, it probably would be for sure the best offseason since 2009. And that's what we need. So, I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Stanton was hype, but Soto would be different. Am I a New York Rangers fan? No, I'm not a Rangers fan, but I know they've gotten off to a great start. They're 16-4-1 or something. That was as of yesterday's WFAN update, so I'm not sure if that's still active or not. But, I'm not a Rangers fan, but I root for them to do well. I don't really watch hockey. I wish I could get into it, but I kind of can't. Alrighty, what else you guys saying on here? Who do you think will ultimately be involved in the trade, King or Schmidt? So what we're hearing is that, and I'll pull this trade back up here. What we're hearing is that the Yankees desperately do not want to give Michael King or Drew Thorpe back to the Padres for Juan Soto. Now, ultimately, I think this trade will come down to being headlined by Michael King. I think you see a deal headlined by King, Chase Hampton, instead of Drew Thorpe. Now, Drew Thorpe is a stud. Minor League Pitcher of the Year this past season. Led the minors in strikeouts. Had a great season, a 2.5 ERA. He's a stud. First round, or maybe a second round draft pick from 2021 or 2022. He's a recent draft pick, high draft pick for the Yankees, and they've developed him fantastically. They don't want to give him up. Now, you have Chase Hampton, who is a first round pick from either this past year or 2022. He's higher rated, actually, than Thorpe on prospect lists. I could see a deal headlined by King, followed by Chase Hampton, which is 2 very significant pieces. And then on top of that, you do a Johnny Brito or Randy Vasquez, and then maybe one top 30 organizational prospect on top of that. 4 players. I think this will be a 4-player deal. As for Clark Schmidt, I don't think Clark's worth enough to get this done. I like Clark a lot, but man, I think there's even a fault I made back going to the Blueprint video when I included Clark for my initial trade for Brendan Donovan. Remember when I wanted Brendan Donovan really bad, and I still do, but I don't know if the Cardinals are going to trade, for starting pitching as much anymore because they picked up 3 starters. I don't know if that's going to happen. But anyways, I headlined that deal for Brendan Donovan with Clark Schmidt. In hindsight, I don't think that was enough to go out and get him. Because what is Clark? I mean, he had a good year this past season, but that's a very relative speaking in a way. For a first-round pick to make 30 starts and keep you in mostly every game. I mean, he was kind of a lock for 5 innings, 2 runs, or 6 innings, 3 runs, a quality start. But in the end, guys, I mean, he's a 27-year-old that had a 4.64 ERA. Allowed 169 hits and 159 innings. And I understand it got a lot better after the first month of the season, and I like Clark a lot. But I kind of knew from the beginning, there's no way Clark is going to headline a Soto trade. Now, with that said, he's also good enough to where you don't want him to just be a throw-in either. So if we're giving up Michael King, you're not getting Clark the way I see it. Although, if it came down to giving up King and Thorpe or King and Clark, I would give up King and Clark, I think. Especially if the Yankees plan on going out and getting Yoshinobu Yamamoto along with Soto. But yeah, man, to answer your question, I really think it's going to come down to headlining a deal with King. What would your contract extension offer be for Soto? BJ asks. Okay, so with that, you figure the starting point has to be at least 440 because the Nationals, prior to trading Soto in 2022, they offered him $440 million. He turned that down. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that's exactly what he's going to get. He turned that down in part because Scott Boras, his agent, never does contract extensions. He always makes sure as long as he can help it, make sure his clients go to free agency. So odds are, no matter what, Soto was going to accept that offer. You figure, though, that's a starting point. I mean, I'll have to pull out the calculator. It's more about AAV for me because the years, that really won't be a problem. He's going to be 26 years old in free agency over, a 10-year period or 12-year period. Let's figure out the AAV first, actually. Okay, so he'll probably, in the open market, Soto might get $45 million a year. Let's just see what $45 million a year would be over 12 years. That would be $540 million over 12 seasons. That might be a little bit high. I don't think he gets that much, but he'll get at least 40. Soto will get at least 40 in free agency. He probably would want to be, no, because I was going to say he'd want to maybe pass Scherzer and Verlander to be like the highest paid player in baseball, but Ohtani's going to more than break that by the time his contract is signed, which will probably be this coming week, they say. Ryan Beck is saying 15 years. I don't know if you're doing 15 years for Soto, but maybe you do. If that's the case, then yeah, this contract could touch $600 million. That would be crazy. And maybe Ohtani kind of sets a precedent for that. Because they're saying Ohtani's a lock now to get $600 million, even with the torn UCL. So, 15 years is tough. Like, I don't really care how young you are, and I'm definitely down to sign Soto for a quite hefty amount of time. But damn, 15 years, that would be crazy, man. Maybe like 40 a year times 40 a year over 13 years, which would be $520 million. Bottom line is, I think what we're getting at here is it's going to be over $500 million in free agency for Soto. So that's interesting. Some are mentioning the possibility of, Everson Pereira or Oswald Peraza going back and return to the Padres. The thing is, San Diego really, really wants MLB-ready pitching because their payroll, even once they get rid of Soto's money, is in pretty tough shape. They want to get down to $200 million without Soto, and they still have to add, I think, 3 starters at least, because they're losing Blake Snell in free agency most likely, certainly. They're losing Michael Wacha in free agency. They're also losing Josh Hader. Obviously, he's a closer, but that's another arm they're losing. And that's why they want their trade return for Soto to be pitching. And the Yankees can offer pitching more than anybody, at least of the available suitors that can take on the money. So Everson Pereira, Oswald Peraza, obviously if they're a piece that gets the deal done, I'm more than down to trade them for sure. But I don't think that's a headliner or anything, Pereira or Peraza, because the Padres, that's not really what they're looking for. Although, like I said, if it were to complete the deal, I'm down to do that. Let's see. My trade package, and this is from Hayden Beer, or Beyer, excuse me if I'm saying your name wrong, bro, says, my trade package is Schmidt, Pereira, Vasquez, and Higgy. I would be shocked if a catcher's involved in the trade. But that'll just be in a way, I don't want to say a throw-in, but that's definitely not the piece that gets the deal done. And once again, I really don't think Clark Schmidt's going to headline a package for Juan Soto. But, yeah. David says, yo, what's up, Dan? I think I'm on Cashman's side on this one. They want way too much for Soto. However, I believe we get him next week. Yeah, man, I'm pretty much in lockstep with you. As much as I've been on Cashman, and even I was kind of tweaking on Twitter yesterday, about, the damage this would do to the fan base if we don't get Soto. Nobody in their right mind is accepting this trade. 7 players for 1 year. Even if it is Juan Soto. Even if it was prime Barry Bonds, man, and he was the greatest guy on earth, the cleanest baseball player of all time, I don't think I'd do this for one player, 1 year of one player. So I'm with you, man. I'm with you. Steve Fontaine asks, and I probably should address this again, talked about it yesterday, but when's the next Yankees Avenue show? For those who aren't aware, Yankees Avenue show is canceled. Had a blast doing it. Love my boy Pat. Would take a bullet for him. It just became different than what I wanted the show to be. after a year of doing it and over 100 episodes of doing it, 2 seasons of doing it. Took a different direction than I really wanted it to. And want me to put the Michael King highlight video? You got it, Mike. Absolutely. My man. Let's see. Let's put on some Michael King highlights for you. And that's me using my OBS Stream Deck, which is pretty sick. And I'm going to get so much smoother at this whole thing. I would like to think, because, practice makes perfect, they say. But with the Stream Deck, it's so cool, man. Like, I just push a button and it's like I'm live running the show, which is pretty sick. I also probably will end up getting background music for these streams. I actually have background music going in my ears right now, but I want to actually get it on the stream itself so you guys have a little, Brendan Q. What's up, Brendan? How we doing, man? He says, Soto to the Yankees would be a seismic move on the level of Reggie in 77 and A-Rod in 04. Those two were the key to 3 championships. Soto has that potential. 100%, Brendan. 100%. It probably would be the biggest deal, because we were just talking before about the biggest move like since 2009 in that offseason when the Yankees got CC, AJ Burnett, Nick Swisher, Mark Teixeira. A particular move that this is as big as, it would be the biggest move since A-Rod. It's past Stanton. It's past anything else they've done, at least, as far as I can think of. And even though it's just 1 year, the magnitude of that 1 year of getting Juan Soto, plus the expectation that you will sign him long-term in free agency, that is I'm with you, man. Ryan Beck goes, background music will be distracting. This is a hangout vibe. You're not giving us a massage. Hey, fair enough, man. I thought background music is good for a hangout vibe, like some nice, what do they call that, lo-fi music. But I don't know. I mean, I'm obviously open to what you guys are saying. How about the Jets today? Yo, man, no, I know. And I'll be honest with you, dude. I'm not like a Zach Wilson truther per se, or like obsessed with Zach Wilson, but since they benched him, man, my interest in the Jets has skyrocketed down. Does that make sense? Skyrocketed down? It has. Even though he's not great, and he's obviously a bust of a second overall pick, he gives them the best chance to win. He does. So, I'm glad that, Tim Boyle was benched today. Trevor Siemian, he was put in. I'm hoping this means that Zach Wilson could come back next week and start, because I think he actually has a chance to, or at least gives him the best chance to win. Wink Daman07 says, I got to see King pitch this year at the game on September 20th versus Toronto. He was absolutely dealing before the bullpen blew it for him. They lost 6-1. I remember that game. I remember that game. And overall, King was great in pretty much all of his starts. He was. Plummeted. Yeah, okay. Instead of saying skyrocketed down, the word would be plummeted. Thank you, Original Lab Studios. But, yeah, man. Tim Boyle is not better than Zach. Yeah, no, I agree, Iced Out. That's what I'm saying. El Bori, I didn't see your comment, brother. It's not like I'm ignoring you. Just let me know what you said, and I'll try to respond to you. Let's see. Need some Judge highlights. Been too long. I don't have Judge highlights prepared on here, man. But if I'm ever set to talk about Judge, I'll have them ready to go. Yeah, man. So Sunday night, winter meetings start Monday. I'm excited. How are you guys feeling? Let me know. We'll probably just get into kind of like a Q&A section of this now. Put Clark Schmidt pitching video. Damn it, man. I had one prepared yesterday. But I don't have one today. Let's see. You want a picture of Yoshinobu Yamamoto? Here's a picture of Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Or if I go back to the main graphic, I can switch topics. Like if we're talking about Soto, boom. If we're talking about Yamamoto, boom. Winter meetings are tomorrow, as I've said 15 times in this stream, I think. Boom. But yeah, so that's kind of where we're at, headed into the new week. I have to drive into the city tomorrow because the in-office everyday policy has been going on for a couple months now at John Boy's. So the plan is, as we wrap things up here, the plan is to be on stream tomorrow night, probably around the same time, about 8 o'clock. If I have any class, I'll schedule a stream so you guys see ahead of time and we know what's good. But the plan, tentatively, for right now, is I'll go to the city. The office is just like 2 hours away. I just bought a new whip the other day, a Hyundai Sonata 2020, nothing crazy. And I'm going to drive in the morning, leave around 5, get home around 7, bullshit a little bit, and then I'll be on for an 8 o'clock stream. And hopefully we have some news go down. I really, really hope, just generally speaking for MLB as a whole, the winter meetings, I would love if the moves were spread out nicely over the week. Like, say Monday, I don't know, freaking Ohtani signs. And then Tuesday, Soto's traded to the Yankees. And then Wednesday, Cody Bellinger signs with the Yankees or somebody. It would be nice if we had just an action-packed week. But once again, streaming every single night, probably around 8 o'clock, so expect that. Hey, Hyundai Sonata gang, let's go. Dan, why did you stop streaming with Patrick? I know I'm going to get a lot of these questions. Nothing against Pat. It was nothing against him at all. It's just the show itself, creatively, it wasn't doing it for me anymore. So kind of had to move on in that regard. Do I need to ask Jumbo to give you a pay raise? No, I actually get paid like decently, like this industry standard for being an editor at Jumbo. I love Jumbo. I'm being paid well there. I just, bro, with the insurance and everything, man, this shit is kind of expensive. Like I don't really want to be paying monthly on a car, but I am. Ed King, how we doing, man? Pleasure to see you, dude. Pleasure to see you. But hope you're doing well. That's going to do it for this one, though. And I appreciate everybody for joining me. This is like already one of my favorite things to do. Did it yesterday, and afterwards, I was telling my girlfriend, like, yo, this is fucking sick. Like, I'm having a blast doing this. And earlier today, I was like, man, I'm going to stream for like a whole hour later because I look forward to it that much. So I will be back tomorrow night, once again, around 8 o'clock. Appreciate you all for joining. Once again, if you're in this chat, please leave a like on this video. If you're here, please leave a like. Please. Begging. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time, huh? Love you all. And let's hope the Yankees get Juan Soto. I still think they will. The Blue Jays are full of shit. They don't have nothing to offer the Padres. Alek Manoah? That's what you want, San Diego, for Juan Soto? You want Alek Manoah? I don't think so.